This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Once upon a time, rail was king, and Pennsylvania was a rail hub with few peers. Welcome to Family Life Staycations, a summertime feature where we highlight great places to visit around the Family Life listening area. I'm Mark Webster, and this week, climb aboard. We're off to Scranton, PA. Next stop, Steamtown.
I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day.
Our conductor for this audio tour of the Steamtown National Historic Site is Park Ranger Erica Kennedy. Steamtown has been around for quite a while now, and what I found interesting looking into the history a bit, it didn't actually start out where it is now.
Yeah, so we get our name Steamtown, USA from F. Nelson Blout's collection that he started in Vermont, and unfortunately he passed away unexpectedly in 1967. So his collection of steam locomotives was just kind of there in Vermont for people to go see, but there weren't a lot of people coming all the way up to Vermont. So in the 1980s, they decided to start relocating his collection down to Scranton at the former DL&W rail yard. But in the process of relocating those trains, Steamtown USA essentially went bankrupt or ran out of money after a couple years. So on October 30th, 1986, Congress made the site a historic site, and then in 1995 we had our grand opening here at the current site.
Well, pardon the pun, but since then, once you went through all those original growing pains, you really did pick up steam. And
yeah,
it's been kind of full steam ahead ever since. It's now part of the National Park Service, so that certainly made a difference, I think, in how the operation runs. So give us a little idea of what people are going to see when they come to visit Steamtown USA.
Well, we still have that large collection of steam locomotives, but we also have the historic rail yard of the DL&W, and that stands for Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western. So this rail yard was started in the 1850s, and so you're going to see the site of one of the original roundhouses, which obviously has evolved and changed over time. The visitor center does have some incredible photographs and a timeline to help you understand the changes in the roundhouse over time.
I'm sure some of our younger listeners might not even know what a roundhouse is.
Yeah. Well, a roundhouse is, just like the name implies, round and circular. It is made up of stalls. At its height, our roundhouse had 46 stalls. And so in each stall, they could have a train, and it would come in for an inspection. So it would come off the tracks. It would actually go on a turntable, which is at the center of the roundhouse. It kind of looks like a little bridge that moves around in a circle, but it will deliver the trains to whatever stall it needs to be at for its inspection.
I guess the stars of the show, if you will, at Steamtown are the engines themselves, and some of them are pretty old and historic, aren't they?
Yeah, we have quite a few really incredible steam locomotives that are quite old. The one that gets a lot of attention is Engine 26. It is still an operating steam locomotive, and you can take train rides on it. It was built in 1929, which means it's 96 years old. We also have a train that just celebrated its 100th birthday, and that is the 6039, the Grand Trunk Western, and it is our feature train for RailFest 2025.
Yeah, we'll talk about a bit more. I know you have some events coming up here shortly, so we'll talk a little bit about those. But for somebody who's just walking in the doors there, obviously you can see an awful lot of different things. What are some of the main highlights that people are drawn to?
It's very nice just being in the roundhouse and seeing all the stalls, seeing the operating turntable, seeing the trains on display. There is a history museum that explains the history of railroading and of the DL&W. In the technology museum, it goes into a little bit more depth about the different ways that railroads operate, how a steam locomotive works. There's a cutaway to demonstrate how steam is generated in the boiler and makes those big wheels move underneath the train. If you don't understand how a steam locomotive works, you definitely want to probably start with the technology museum, but then of course you'll get to see some of the steam locomotives for yourself in the roundhouse. We also have a locomotive shop tour that goes into a little bit more in depth that is an area of the park where you can only go if you have authorized personnel with you, so a park ranger or a volunteer. And that person will show you some of the machines and equipment that we use to do our repairs and restorations on our collection.
Yeah, that's one of the neat features I think about it is that it's not just a stodgy museum with things behind ropes, but very much hands-on, and it's actually a working, active rail yard.
Yeah, and that's actually why you do need to be in the locomotive shop with one of the rangers, is to keep you safe. They're working. There's cranes going, there's equipment being moved around. So it's really for your safety that we don't want anyone wandering back there without an interpretive ranger, but also to help you understand what's happening and what you're seeing, because it can be really overwhelming in that space if you don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I guess a lot of this technology, which one back in the day was cutting edge, would be pretty foreign to folks these days.
Yeah, one thing you won't see in the locomotive shop is a computer.
That'd be refreshing.
Yeah, lots of buttons and levers and switches, but no computers. So our machinists, they have a really important job because what they're doing is passing down knowledge of how to do some of these repairs and restorations and how to use the machines that they use that are specific to the history of railroading.
Mm-hmm. And Scranton certainly is rich, isn't it, when it comes to the history of rail?
Yeah, super important during the Industrial Revolution. Anthracite coal, of course, being a really important part of the region, delivering that coal for people to use to heat their homes or to heat steam engines in factories. Very profitable as well. A lot of people in a lot of different industries made a lot of money because of the DL&W.
Rail was king for a long time. Let's talk about a couple of the events I know are coming up there. One of them is very soon is the Arts in the Park weekend. What's that all about?
Yeah, well, this is great for people who love the National Park Service. It is the National Park Service's birthday. And so to celebrate, we're focusing on some of the art and artists that make up the NPS experience. Before people could readily visit these sites and take their own pictures of their sites, they relied on the artwork of various people to understand and appreciate the beauty of the National Park Service. And of course, during the Great Depression, there was a program called the WPA designed to employ artists, and also their artwork encouraged people to potentially go and visit some of these national park sites.
Neat. A little lesser known aspect of the WPA. And that's sort of a prelude to a really big event coming up Labor Day weekend that's known as Railfest. Tell us about that.
Railfest is going to be so much fun. If you are a regular visitor of Steamtown National Historic Site, you're going to want to come because there's going to be a brand new set of experiences and demonstrations and visiting equipment to take a look at. It's just going to have a very fun vibe. It's going to be very festive. It's going to be a celebration of railroading history and trains and steam locomotives. Of course, we'll have our regular short train rides, tours of the big boy cab. We'll have some hand car experiences for visitors. The locomotive shop will be open, and our staff will be doing demonstrations of some of the machines that they use, which is really kind of the only time of the year to see these really cool machines working for yourself. So definitely something to see. If you've been to a locomotive shop tour and wondered how those machines work, you can see that happen during Railfest 2025.
Right, and this actually marks Steamtown's 30th anniversary, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So our museum complex, our grand opening was in 1995. We're going to replicate some of those super cool events and things that happened on that day to the best of our ability. But we're hoping to draw a large crowd. We'll have music, lots of fun, and hopefully lots of learning too about railroading history. We did publish a program for the events on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on our website. You will be able to buy tickets for the short train rides ahead of time, but also on the day of the event. Overall, though, the event is free. The only thing we are charging for are train rides. So overall, it is a free event. You can see and do a lot of stuff with your family at no cost to you. There will also be a shuttle service if you want to go over to the Italian Festival and get some good eats. So really just a lot of wonderful things happening in Scranton at the same time, and lots of opportunities to celebrate with your family.
Steamtown National Historic Site Ranger Erica Kennedy. And this has been Family Life Staycations, a weekly summertime feature highlighting great places to visit around the Family Life listening area. Please join us again next time as we hit the road again for another Family Life Staycation.
Come on!
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.